Time at Goodison, he scored an incredible 349 league goals in 399 appearances. Add this to the fact he was never sent off or booked, and it makes him not just the greatest Evertonian of all time, but quite possibly the greatest player of all time. Unfortunately, I never got to see Dixie Dean play. The great centre-forwards of my day were Bob Latchford, Gary Lineker, and the man who is second only to Dean in the record books, one Graham Sharp.
I think I got 159 goals for Everton. I think my best tally in a league season was probably 30. In the year I had Gary Lineker got 40 goals that year. I think I got 30. Obviously that incorporated cups as well. But you know, that's an incredible record from Dixie. And that 349 goals. It's amazing. You know, you look at 349 goals. People are lucky to play 349 games nowadays, but 349 goals for a football club. An incredible achievement which will never ever be beaten anywhere in the world.
Will football ever turn out a striker that's going to score 60 goals in a season?
I think if they get 25 goals off a striker nowadays, he's done well. We look at the Van Nistelrooys of the world at Manchester United, score goals for fun, but nowhere near getting to that 60 mark. That will never ever happen again.
His wonderful kick presents Dixie Dean with a chance in the goal mouth, which he doesn't miss this time. Congratulations to Dixie.
60 league goals in one season. I mean, that is phenomenal. The mind boggles, particularly when you bear in mind that last season's top scorer in the Premiership was one Thierry Henry with 27 goals. Imagine what Dean would have been worth today.
The biggest price tags in the modern day are always for goal scorers. Dixie Dean wasn't just one of the best goal scorers of his era, he was comfortably the best. So you'd have to say it would be a world record-breaking transfer. I mean, I think Zinedine Zidane still holds that record at, what, 49 million. So you're looking to top that. I mean, probably even Roman Abramovich's millions couldn't even begin to pay for a striker like Dixie Dean.
For obvious reasons, he was revered at Goodison. But what about the other lot? You know, what about the red side of the city?
He was probably hated during his actual pomp, but I think in later years, yeah, he was very, very much respected. And a great pal of his, Bill Shankly, came out with a wonderful quote which sums up, I suppose, what he meant on both sides of the divide, where he described about him as being belonged in the ranks of the supremely great, in the ranks of a Beethoven, a Shakespeare or a Rembrandt, which, you know, typical over-the-top statement from Shankly, but to me that sums up the essence of what he was about. He was a truly great individual. And to receive an accolade like that from across the park, I think suggests the respect that he was held on both sides.
In the late 60s, highly paid players like George Best brought a new glamour to the game, attracting lucrative sponsorship deals. Speaking at the time, Dixie recalled how in his heyday he earned just £8 a week.
I'd have much rather accepted, which I did, £8 a week than they do now with all these folie brisures that's going on. I mean, when you started off, you got 6.5, and you worked your way up to 8. And of course, that was the limit in those days. Well, on a Friday, when you went for your wages, you didn't get 8. You got 6.5, probably, or 6, because you'd been tapping them during the week. I say good luck to these kids now. Let them have it, and as long as they look after it.
He'd have played for nothing. And then I think at one stage they had a choice, either the medal or the wages, and he always took the medal.
That's what I played for.
Yes, indeed. Medals only.
A handful of gold. You should know everyone.
You mentioned he played for nothing, so what would he make of, you know, today's footballers?
I think he just thought they were a load of fairies. He used to sort of say that. He used to play in carpet slippers and with a beach ball.
But the legend of Dixie lives on, and today, October 1957, those memories are stirred anew in the city of Chester. For there, just 20 miles from Everton, is Dixie Dean's bar. Inside, behind the counter, you'll find him who, 25 years ago, was the wonder of the football world. The winner of 23 England caps, a man who will always be honoured as the greatest centre-forward of them all.
This rarely seen footage from a BBC documentary shows Dixie happy to reminisce about his playing years from behind the bar of his pub.
Well, it's almost 30 seasons, or exactly 30 seasons, isn't it, since you put up your individual record?
It is 30.
60 goals,
60 league goals and 84 altogether in the season, cup ties, international matches.
My goodness me, that's some record.
Yes.
And it's never been surpassed. Is there any reason for that, do you think that now centre-forwards are marked more closely by the centre-half than they were then?
No, I don't think they're good enough. As a matter of fact, the marking, I've had as many as 2 and 3 every time I've gone for the ball. So I don't think anybody was marked more so, and especially on my body and limbs and one or the other.
Obviously, at my age, I never got to see the great man play. And to actually play with him, well, that would just be a fantasy, a dream come true. But then again, surely that kind of talent stays in the blood. Well, let's find out. Meet Daniel, Dixie's great-grandson. And Scarlett, Dixie's great-granddaughter. Right, let's see if you've got it. Ah, I see. Oh. Yeah, obviously it stays in the blood, doesn't it? Very good. Above all, Dixie was a family man, and his clear favourite was his granddaughter, Melanie.
He was always there and used to play football in the garden and used to sit with his hanky on his head, getting the sun. So just normal memories of a normal granddad.
That's just fantastic. Yeah, when you say normal memories of a normal granddad, to play football in the garden with Dixie Dean, well, not everyone gets to do that, actually. That's amazing.
But he was still my granddad. So he might have been Dixie Dean, the goal scorer to everybody else, but to me he was just my granddad.
The Everton players are the first to be introduced to His Royal Highness by Dixie Dean, their captain and famous goal-scoring centre-forward.
It seems fitting somehow. The Goodison should be the setting for Dixie's final appearance. He died at the ground in 1980 whilst watching the Merseyside derby as a spectator for the very first time. His ashes were later spread in the centre circle.
Is it true what they say about Dixie? Does the sun really shine all the time? Do the sweet magnolias blossom at every...
Of course, Monday is the 100th anniversary of Dixie's birth. So how will you feel on that day? Will you kind of be poignant? Will it be a poignant moment?
Well, I don't believe where all the time's gone, really. I mean, but there you go. I've enjoyed being 100. A glass of champagne in his hand.
He was a lovely granddad to me, and I'm sure he would have been a wonderful great-grandfather to my children. So just say, cheers, Grandad. Happy birthday.
Here, here.